Hello, all, and welcome to this session. I'm going to talk about the last 30 days. I don't know how we are feeling. I'm basically guessing that some of you are excited, some of you are like tired, some of you are still worried. For some of you, your mock scores are now going down. Maybe one section is now creating problem out of nowhere. You have your boards happening, lot, and you know your friends are scoring much better than you. All sort of issues you have. I thought that I will do this session to give you some sense in terms of how to deal with the last 30 days. My name is Gejo. Stay with me till the end, and let's get started with the session. Let me share my screen. Okay, so what I want is to let us create an effective plan for the last 30 days. So there are three questions I believe that we have to ask. One question is, where am I now? That is important. Where am I at this point in time? How many hours can I spend? It's not like we just have 30 days and some of you have boards, some of you don't have boards. Still, there is only that much we can do. Therefore, what is that I should focus? CLAT is an exam where preparing or planning for a rank of 2000 or a 3000 doesn't make any sense. Assuming there are 50,000 people taking the test, I'm sure there are more, but assuming there are 50,000 people taking the test, if you get a rank of 50,000, what's the outcome? Nothing. But you get a rank of 3,000, what's the outcome? Nothing. So, whatever the situation that you are at this point in time, we should look at winning this, right? We should try and see what is that we can do in the last 30 days to improve ourselves. For some of you, the story is I still need to improve. Some of you already doing well, so you have to maintain certain things. Some of you, for some reason, the scores are coming down. Whatever that situation is, these are the three questions that we have to ask. So let's ask the first question: where am I now? So I've basically created some rough table. Let's consider CLAT to be three section. One is GK, where you have 35 questions. Quantitative technique with 15 questions, and reading includes logic plus English plus legal, all put together about 50, and the total is 150. In the last, where are you now? There could be some of you who are probably getting approximately 30 in GK, along with about approximately 12 in quantitative technique, around 75, 80, and probably the scores therefore is hitting more than 110, sometimes 120 as well. There may be some of you who are probably at the stage of roughly about 25, uh, here roughly let's say 10, roughly 65. Maybe your score is between 90 to 100. Maybe some of you are, let's say in GK roughly 20, here 8, let's say reading about 60, 80, 90. You sort of all sort of situations. The way in which I look at it is that you might be at some point, maybe in GK you might be, let's say, at this particular point. Maybe your maths is decent at this particular point. Maybe your English is here. That's probably looks at your score about 80s. So you're at some stage in each of these things. What you obviously would love to be is to be in a situation where I am at here, here, and here. And that is what we love to be, but that's not where we are. Maybe most of you are not at this point in time. I'm hoping that you are not in the situation where you are at this stage. I'm just hoping you don't have that. So you might be some combination of this, right? So take a note of this situation. We are at some place in each of this section. Maybe the scores are fluctuating, but on an average, we probably be hitting in some order. Maybe let's look at 25 here, 10 here, maybe 70 there. So you're about 80, about 90. So your score is 90. Sometimes on a good day, your score will go to 100. So whatever that situation, that is your truth at this point in time. But we love to ask another question: how many hours can I spend? So I'm going to keep it slightly simplified way of the simple way of looking at it. Some of you may not have any boards. Maybe your boards are over or you're repeating. Some of you have boards. I don't know how many hours on an average eventually that you can put in. Maybe I'm sure that those who are having boards, maybe your exam will get over in the 7th of June. Maybe you'll get 12 days. In those 12 days, you can put about 10 hours every day, and then you've got 120 hours. Plus, currently, you probably can put about 3 hours every single day. On an average, it might come to 6 hours every day. So maybe that's where the situation. I'm hoping that this is not the case. I'm guessing that this is probably what you can put in. And those of you who does not have board can look at these number of hours, right? 180, 240. But what we have is this. Let's for the sake of discussion look at about 200, 180 hours, 200 hours or something like this. Okay, let's look at the situation that we are in. So it is not that I can do everything. There are certain things I cannot do because I just don't have the time. Therefore, it is absolutely important for us to figure out and decide what are the things that I should focus on. There are four things I have. I'm up to prepare for GK, which I think that you have to. So there is no choice. But if I have to prepare for GK out of these number of hours, let's say probably have over 200 hours with me in the next 30 days. What percentage of that should I put for GK? Is there anything I should do with respect to the quant prep? For about the reading, which is legal, logic, English, should I start now practicing more? What should I do? How many mock tests should I take? I think these are uh, kind of important question that I need to ask myself in the last 30 days so that I know that at least I have some semblance of an idea of a plan which is in a direction to help me get to the law school of my choice. So, what should I focus? Let's start with the first part is to be mentally ready. I think one of the issue that you might have at this point in time is simply sitting and worrying. Um, And there might be some of you whose scores are now going down, and you're almost thinking, "Oh my goodness, it is CLAT is just on the corner, and I suddenly out of the blue, I used to get decent mark. Now I'm going down." Let me show you some data. Now this is a mock score of Nidhi, who got rank 2 in CLAT 2021. Look at her last three mocks. Score went down as low as 78.5 in the very last mock that she took. The next thing that she took was a CLAT, and she eventually got a rank of 2. She had even seen scores like this 66, 84, which is probably very, very close to the CLAT. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mock before the CLAT. Look at, for example, Shweta, who's rank 4. 71.5 on the 39th mock, which was the last mock that she took. 71.5. Eventually got a rank of 4. Let me give one more data of someone who actually seen scores like 33 and then fought really hard, went to 94, came down, and then again went up. And it's like this, came down, went up, came down, went up, and let's say close the CLAT, again came down. Eventually got a rank of 48. This would be a story for everyone. So the first thing that all of you should do is to not to be bothered about the scores that you're getting here. At the end of the day, what matters is that day, that 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, we will definitely do well. And if you have a low score, think in this particular fashion. All right, I know the, I'll give an interview about how I got amazing rank in CLAT, and in that interview, I'll tell them that just before CLAT, my scores was down, but I did not give up. Whatever is a bad thing that's happening to you today, assume that is going to be an amazing story that you're going to tell tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Now, please mentally prepare that on that day, on the CLAT day, we'll do well. And I can vouch for this. There have been mocks where we have done extremely well in reading. There have been mocks where we've been extremely well in quant. There have been mocks where we've been done extremely well in GK. It may be that all the three have not fired together. But you have it in you that each one of them has individually fired. So you have the skills. So just believe that on the day of the CLAT, all will fire. That's the reference frame of mind that you must have. This is very important, right? Now coming back to what is that I need to do. So if someone at the score of 20, 25 in GK, what my guess is, let's first start with GK. Okay, my kind of guess is, so you've got one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, right? There are seven sort of passages given to you, and each of these passages has got about five questions. There might be some of you who know all seven. There may be some who are able to mostly six, one even that you don't know. Uh, some of you are at five. Okay. Or, and then within that, what happens that you end up probably knowing about four questions. You may not know all the five. On an average, you know about four. So these people end up getting closest scores close to 28 to 30. Here is in six, you're probably hitting a score close to about 24, 25, 22, that range. If you are here, you're probably getting a score of 18 to 20. So that's where you are. Now, those of you already are hitting a score of 20 to 30, they have, they, they've done enough effort and they're doing the preparation well. But those of you here, you're 24, if on the day of the CLAT, I know the seventh event, I'm scoring, I'm moving there. Those of you here, if I know maybe a couple of more events, all the events, then my score will improve. GK is based on knowledge. So you must ensure that in these 30 days you are doing GK. That we have no choice. We have no choice but to do GK. Now the question is, what should I do? From where should I start and where should I move? Which month to which month? Now you might be thinking that I will probably start from last. I need to revise everything from last year July. July, August, September, October, November, December, Jan, Feb, March, April. So exam is in the month of June. So should I do May? It's a paper-based test. People are going to prepare, but I have to be safe. May. What if I will also do first week of June? I want to revise. I'm guessing that on an average, every single month probably will have 30 good events, or let's say maybe 40. I don't know what the number is. There are obviously lot many stuff is happening. Lot of stuff is happening. Let's just count that every month, for you to ensure that you will eventually know all these seven events, you probably will have to look at 50 events per month. Let's say we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, almost 11 months. 11, let's me count 10 also. Let me count 10. 500 events is what I have to do. Each event will probably take me half an hour if I want to get into the depth, right? Which I need to look at those all the five questions. Half an hour. That is 250 hours. Where is the time? And this half an hour means what? Probably I'll read the event once or twice, or uh, maybe once, but I'll not remember most of the stuff. So I just don't have the time. I would love to do all of this, but I just don't have the time. So I have to be sensible. I have to make some bets. What to do? So let's look at, for example, what has happened with GK in the last couple of years. So in 2020, CLAT happened in September, and this was online. Now, if it's an online test, the paper is not getting printed. Right? The paper is not getting printed. Because the paper is not getting printed, they can give an event in the month of September itself. These are events. Okay, a couple of events was from an article which was written on the 2nd September. Three was in August. One was in July. One was June. Nothing before that. Just 1, 2, 3, 4 months. 4 months closer to CLAT, it was done. CLAT 2021, the examination happened in the month of July, though the paper got set by March, I believe. You look at all the passages of that was taken in logical reasoning. Most of them were Indian Express, right? Those passages also were in the January, February, March period. So I think they set the paper. They did not sort of recreate the paper. They did not add another GK question. They set the paper here. Again, 4 months. This year exam is the month of June. So we may not do that risk. But think about this. So till where should I, from where should I move? It is almost impossible to start from here to go this. Let me make some sensible bet. Let me make a bet that this month and maybe this month is going to be crucial. I will obviously look at this month. Maybe if I have time, then I'll move towards that side. Now the question is May till where? Probably May 15th, 30 days before. Your paper will have to get this is a paper based test. It has to get printed, it has to get distributed. I think let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. Now I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Who knows what's going to happen? But I know for a fact that I can't do everything. So what is to me important is any extra news that is happening from today. I'm just going to ignore it. If it comes, uh, now last year a lot of people say that there is this question. This is CLAT 2021 question. Okay, this Minister of Health and Family Welfare is so in July of 2021. This gentleman became the minister, and before that, Dr. Harshvardhan was the minister. So everybody said this is July event. Oh my goodness, this event happened July. But I basically feel it's pure coincidence. That's what I feel because the article. So you can see an article that was given before it, right? The article and all the questions. The article was on COVID, and the article was an article that was taken from an article that was written on 29th January. So I'm basically sort of assuming that this is just the only question which had something from July. But I'm basically assuming that this was probably a sheer coincidence. They created the question and then maybe it happened that the minister changed along the way. I don't know what happened. But I don't know. Anyway, the point, ladies and gentlemen, is if I have to make some bet, I have to make some bet of let's say events, maybe this. So that means that I can probably look at let's say about 200, maybe 250, about 250 kind of a number events, and this is probably manageable. Even if let's say I'm spending about half an hour, I can look at about 120 hours. This is manageable. This is definitely manageable, and that's what I want to revise. So I don't want to add any more extra bit of data. I would essentially want to kind of revise even. And whenever I'm revising, don't start from July. Start from let's say April. If you want to do till 15th of May, please do till 15th of May. But definitely do April, do then March, do then February. So that's how we revise. Revise close to the test. That's the most sensible thing to do. I will also suggest that GK is purely about knowledge, right? You really do not have to sit, let's say, for continuously 3 hours to do this. So GK can start from any time. So for example, I take about let's say 15 minutes to have my breakfast, 15 minutes to have my lunch, 15 minutes to have my dinner. And I'm today spending about 30 minutes on social media. I probably am spending 10 minutes, 15 minutes on potty also. So this is give me 1.5 hours. Every time. So today people are saying that I will relax. So I will sit and relax. What do I do? Relax. I'll probably watch YouTube video. No, 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 no. Our relaxed time is GK time. If I can take, let's say, like this 15 minutes out, currently whatever preparation that you're doing, an additional 15 minutes out. If I can take that 10 minutes from here, 10 minutes from there, eventually you know that I get extra time, and those has to be for GK. Because if someone who is at 20 can still get to probably 30, someone who is at 30 has to kind of maintain it. Now, last year, the GK topics were the questions were very weird. We don't know what's going to happen. We are just making a bet and to cover as much as possible. My suggestion would be number one, month in, weekly month in that you have, right? Start from new month in, ignore. April, 4 week month in. I think each month in is roughly about 25 pages of Each month and each weekly mandala has got 25 pages of content. 25 into 4, every month we have 100 pages of content. Each page will probably take about 10 minutes, right? 100 10 divided by 60. So 6 months are 6, that is 40, about, let's say about 15 hours, 15 16 hours for 1 month. Fifth month in one round. So you can do it about, but it's fine, about 30 40 for 60 hours you can do it. So one is month end. The reason why I'm saying this is that while you are looking at events, so any, let's say if you ask anyone, s- let's say you ask someone, sir, give me the most important event, give me the important event, what is important, how do I know? Last year, remember, whatever list that people gave as important event, nothing was there. So while you are of course creating your event, which means you look at the mock so far and look at all the events in the mock, especially the countdown mock that happened in January, February, March, and whatever is happening now. Use that. At least know those things. And then I'm sure that you have created your own list. Just focus on that. And a substantial chunk of your preparation, I'm almost guessing 80% of your effort has to be on time, has to be on GK, unfortunately. Right. The second thing I want to talk about this is quant prep. I don't think we should prepare anything for quant. This is what I don't know. You've seen CLAT 2020 paper. You've seen CLAT 2021 paper. You probably would have also watched GP's sir's session on the channel. Please do watch that. In quant, my feeling is that if you can do two sets. I think last year one set was wrong. Last to last year also one set was wrong. But all the sets are doable. Two sets you can do. The only thing that you need is time. If assuming that you, let's say you get 20 minutes in the actual paper, you can solve the sets. So it is not complicated, right? So today for quant there is no extra prep to happen. So where do I get this 15 minutes, where do you get this 20 minutes? That happens with respect to reading. Okay, now let me talk to reading. This, so there might be some of you, you are getting about 50 score out of the 100. Some of you will have a 60. This is adding legal, logic, and English together. Out of this, some of you are looking at 60, some of you looking at 70, some of 80. If you are 80, what will you improve? I think all, remember this, right? Understand this, that the reason why your score is, let's say, stuck at, let's say, a 50 or a 60 or some scores like that, it's not because you don't know how to solve. After the test, when you go back and look at the what do you say, the test once again, you look at the test once again, you you see that, okay, I can solve these questions, I can solve these questions. So the issue is just that we are getting stuck. What is happening in the examination is that I'm not able to complete the paper. And why am I not able to complete the paper? Why? Because time management issue. And who is managing time? You are managing time. The issues were you. Now, if let's say GK, I don't waste time. If I don't know, I don't know. 8 minutes. Let's say I can look at GK and then look at what a reading is, whether it's English, logic, or legal. You are given a passage and then followed by, let's say, 5 questions. Another passage followed by 5 questions. Another passage followed by another 5 questions. And it goes on. Okay, I think the mistake that everybody does is that if I read the passage, we tell ourselves I have to solve all the 5 questions. Why? My marks, my marks is from the questions. Think about this. I am just interested in marks per minute. Every minute I need to get marks. So if I am stuck in a question and thinking about what the answer choice is, that is unproductive. So I should not get stuck. So it may so happen that couple of questions are easy. One is a speed breaker. One question is medium. Let's say fourth question is medium. Let's say fifth question is easy. I solve the first one. I solve the second one, because this also happens, right? After reading the passage, couple of questions are like pick me. You take 10 seconds to answer some questions. Some questions get done in 10 seconds. Some questions get done in 15 seconds. The passage is what? 300 words. Sometimes it is 400, but mostly 300 words. In about 2 minutes, you read the passage. Actually, 2 minutes, in about 3, 4 minutes, you actually solve three questions. In 3 minutes, you get 3 marks. And then why does the 3 minute become 6 minutes? Because we are getting stuck in one question and spending 2 minutes in that question, going back to the passage and thinking. I have to be a sensible test taker. Please, at this point in time, don't think about practicing more. I mean, what you have solved, I am guessing at least about 200 English passages, at least, the very least. And your score is here. What what are you if you solve 50 more passages, what different will happen? You solve so many legal questions, you will solve extra 100 legal question for practice. What is going to change? The thing that you do is you read the passage once, you look at the question once, no, just move it towards the end. And you might, so some might be worrying, so my atom will go down. How will the atom go down? Atom will not go down, because at every single point in time, it doesn't matter, the question is in the order 1 till 15, but I'm picking, my order is not 1 to 15, my order is 1 2 5 6 8 9 12 14 17, and then probably I'll come back if I have time. If I have time, but don't have time, I don't have time. But every single point that I'm in, I'm interested in marks per minute. If you can do this even today, I'm saying that what that happens, imagine this. There are going to be what? There are six passages in English, six passages in logic, let's say eight passages in legal. So you've got 20 passages. If we say on an average, if I do this and I can spend about 4 minutes on that is 80 minutes for this. I have 80 minutes. I've got 8 minutes, 88 minutes. Let's count 90 minutes. These two put 90 minutes. I have 120 minutes. I have the 30 minutes for quant. I will get all 15. Why not? Today, you're getting a score of 50 after spending how many minutes? Today, getting a score of 60 after spending how many minutes? You're getting a score of 60 after spending 90 minutes. What are you doing? I should get a score of 50 after spending 50 minutes. No, it's unproductive. So I'm not saying for you to do this. I don't know eventually what the paper is going to be, but if you are able to become this sensible guy in this session, this will improve. So that means you don't have to do much in the 30 days. I have to I have to make my be a sensible guy. If the question, let's say in the actual exam, if one question is tough, don't cry, just move on, because it's going to be tough for all. Passage is difficult to read. Okay, no problem, move on. Be sensible. And that's all you can do in 30 days. What does that mean? That means that I have to now be that sensible person, which means I can manage these two things. And I spend a substantial amount of time for GK. That's it. Coming back to the last part, which is mock test. Now, I have heard people saying, I will do one mock every day. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? One mock every day. So you are telling yourself that I'm going to spend 2 hours for one mock. I'm sure that you have to do some analysis also. Otherwise, mock is a waste. Let's say you spend 1 hour analysis, basic analysis. That's 3 hours. 3 hours on one day. And what is the outcome? What have you improved? If you do every single day the mock test, what is coming out of this? Nothing. I could have probably used 3 days, that is 9 hours, that I probably should have put for GK. Every 5 days, one mock test. That's it. The maximum you can do, even every 6 days, one mock test. That's enough. You don't have to do the test like this. You just need about 3 to 4 tests, if you ask me, to take care of this issue or become a sensible test taker. And just look at a lot of time on this. 4 tests. Every fifth day, one mock test. Don't do mock test every day and all. How it doesn't make sense. Your last 30 days is a simple last 30 days. Give substantial time for GK prep. Be a sensible test taker and stay positive. Simple. Nothing else. So, ladies and gentlemen, the thing that you always remember this, right? If I go speak to a teacher who teaches legal, right? Nothing wrong with an advice. And they say that for legal you have to do this much. You have to do more number of tests. Do this. The legal teacher is telling me to do this. If I go GK teacher, my GK teacher is telling me start from September, start from August, your preparation. Nothing wrong with that. But what happens then? The math teacher will come and tell me you have to still solve 15 questions. And this teacher telling me if I add all those things, I just don't have time. Everybody wants my time. And plus the board teacher is telling me you have to study every day, 5 hours, 10 hours to clear the board. My parents are telling me this. Everybody is telling me individually, in silos. One person is telling me on one thing individually. And everybody is basically saying that to improve score in legal, you should do another 50 passages. Yes, it will improve. The other guy is also telling me this. This person also telling me this. Another person is telling me this. And collectively, if I add all of this, I just don't have time. So we have to make bets. I'm just giving you direction in which you can make bets. A direction which says that look at the situation that you're in. Look at the time that you can put. Look at the most sensible path and do it. This is your next 30 days. And whatever things happen, your score is going down. Doesn't matter. It's an amazing story for future. You will make it to the law school of your choice, Bangalore, Hyderabad, wherever you want to go. And then I'll come back and say, look, the last three tests, my score was pathetic, but I conquered it. Whatever is the negative thing that happens, you say that this is going to be the story of futures. Be positive, stay positive, be sensible. That's all I have to say. Now, this session is getting premiered, right? On the YouTube. Please post your uh, questions, comments, anything that you have on the chat box. I will respond to them, or maybe even probably next session I'll probably pick up some of these questions that you're posting and create a video. Thank you so much and all the best.